remember Peabody Ledford. Good evening to all of you. I am amazed as I look around this room and see so many of my friends. What a tremendous group of people are gathered here for this celebration. Why don't we all stand up and give the women who are members of this collaborative a big round of applause. Governor, First Lady, Senator Finney, Charles Bone, Pitt Hyde. The four of you are a most impressive group of honorees, both distinguished and likable at the same time. So likable, in fact, that I had an 8th grade crush on the man I am introducing tonight, Charles William Bone. Charles and I grew up in Gallatin, and he was the big brother of one of my good friends, Lucy. How I loved to be invited to Lucy's house because I thought I might get a glimpse of Charles. It was actually Charlie Bone then. Charlie was a high school senior, and in 1964 he moved to college, and at the age of 13 I moved on. How thrilled I would have been then to think my life would take a series of turns that all led to this moment where I am introducing that handsome kid who was a senior at Gallatin High School. Now a successful lawyer, attorney, founding member of his firm, Bone McAllister Norton. It is simply fun tonight to have the opportunity to introduce somebody I have known my whole life. In thinking about what I'd like to highlight about his life and the good deeds he has done leading up to this point, I decided that might be boring. And so I decided to talk about who he is rather than what he's done. Charles is the recipient of many awards chronicling his public and community service, but here is Charles as I know him. Sumner County, like many other counties in this state, breed men and women who are born of the pioneer spirit. Like the early settlers of Sumner County, Charles has a remarkable strength of character and a strong determination to make a positive difference in the lives of the people in his community and this state. He shares with the early settlers an entrepreneurial spirit and devotion to family and community. In introducing Charles, it is important to note that his family is a big, big part of who he is and how he defines himself. Charles is devoted to his mother that he mentioned in the video. 92-year-old Noakes Bone still lives in the same house on Red River Road in Gallatin. Charles' wife, Baylor Ann, is a businesswoman and a successful businesswoman in her own right. He has 2 adult children who many of you in this room already know. Charles Robert Bone, his son, practices law alongside his father at Bone McAllister and is known for his keen interest in government and politics, as well as being known in Nashville as a really good lawyer. Charles' daughter, Baylor McKay Bone Swindle, is my longtime colleague and dear friend, even if she is only 34 years old. Baylor, where are you? She, too, is an attorney and registered lobbyist with me here at the state capitol. There are no slackers in the Bone clan. In talking with my parents last night, preparing for what I was going to say to you all about Charles, my mother reminded me about the very first mental health center established in Gallatin quite some time ago. Many had predicted that it would be a dismal failure. There was not much substantive public discussion about mental health at that stage. Very, very little support for mental health initiatives. My mother credits her fellow board member, Charles Bone, with leading the Guidance Center to the forefront of acceptability in our then very small southern town. She said, simply put, without Charles, we would not have made it. Because he led its acceptance, others followed, and the center was a tremendous success story. My father spoke of Charles as a most persuasive and articulate community leader in behalf of civil rights efforts, along with organizations lending a hand to immigrant communities. Others close to Charles talk of the positive difference he has made in organizations for children and the underprivileged. His sense of fairness and equality is central to who he is as a man. He believes in what our state constitution refers to as the common good for all Tennesseans. He has been a man of action for the general welfare of the citizens of this state and of his community. It is because of these core beliefs that he has chosen to broadly participate in the governance of his state and his community. Like the early Sumner County settlers, he is expansion-minded, looking forward, not afraid of the next frontier. His loving reach is broad. His personality is larger than life. His ideas, endless. I am proud to call Charles my friend, and I am honored to be here in his behalf. And lastly, Jim Henry, true to the memory of our beloved friend and my mentor and yours, Tennessee's former Lieutenant Governor, Frank C. Gorell, I conclude my remarks by saying, absolutely magnificent, that is Charles Bone.